The St. Regis ballroom sparkled with wealth and pretension. My sister Caroline's wedding was exactly what you'd expect from a Morgan Stanley VP marrying a hedge fund manager. Crystal chandeliers, $1,000 centerpieces, and enough designer labels to fill a fashion week. I sat quietly at my assigned table, far from the wedding party of course, in my simple black dress. No jewelry except my grandmother's old watch. No designer clutch or five-figure shoes. Just me, my phone, and my glass of water. Still flying commercial, Sarah? My cousin Jennifer stopped by, Gucci heels clicking on marble. You know William's jet is always available. William. My ex-fiancé. Now a junior partner at Goldman Sachs according to the society pages I never read. I manage, I said checking my phone. 7:58 p.m. Almost time. Caroline floated over in her custom Vera Wang, her new husband James trailing behind. Sarah. I was just telling the Astors about my sweet little sister. Still doing that. What was it again? Investment thing. Something like that. I took another sip of water. 7:59 p.m. She's so private about it, Caroline stage whispered to her wealthy audience. But then there's not much to tell when you're still finding yourself at 32. The designer-clad crowd tittered appropriately. I checked my watch again. No +1 tonight? James smirked, champagne in hand. At least you're consistent. 8 p.m. Right on schedule. My phone buzzed. Then everyone's phones buzzed. The collective gasp was worth every second of the past 10 years. Breaking news, the Bloomberg alert read. Mysterious CEO of Shadow Valley Capital revealed as Sarah Chin, age 32. Estimated net worth, $4.7 billion. Caroline's champagne glass shattered on the marble floor. Sources confirm Chin has been operating in complete anonymity since founding the firm a decade ago. Shadow Valley's revolutionary AI-driven investment strategy has generated the highest returns in hedge fund history. That's impossible, James whispered, his hedge fund suddenly looking very small indeed. The screens around the ballroom, meant to show wedding photos, now displayed my company's logo and performance charts. 10 years of carefully hidden success exposed in one perfectly timed moment. Shadow Valley? Jennifer's Gucci heel wobbled. The fund that turned down William's firm last month? Actually, I stood up, smoothing my simple dress. We turn them down every month. Their returns don't meet our minimum requirements. Mom appeared, diamonds trembling. But you live in that tiny apartment. You mean my company's first office? I smiled, pulling up the real estate records on my phone. I kept it as a reminder. The building's worth more than this wedding cost. 10 years, Caroline managed through gritted teeth. You've been running this for 10 years? While you were counting designer labels? I projected my fund's holdings onto the ballroom's wall. I was counting billions. That investment thing, you couldn't remember? It outperformed every fund on Wall Street. Combined. The Bloomberg ticker continued. Shadow Valley Capital's innovative approach has revolutionized modern investing. Chen's personal portfolio reportedly exceeds the GDP of several small nations. James's hedge fund suddenly looked like a child's piggy bank. Caroline's VP title felt hollow. Mom's society connections seemed quaint. Finding myself? I quoted Caroline's earlier dig. I found myself just fine. Between building the most successful fund in history and acquiring most of your competitor firms. The sound of helicopter blades cut through the wedding music. Right on time. That's my ride, I said, gathering my simple clutch. Board meeting in Singapore. We're announcing some acquisitions tomorrow. James, you might want to check which hedge funds. A sleek black helicopter appeared over the St. Regis garden, my company's logo gleaming against the night sky. The buildings that had made me billions stretched along the Manhattan skyline, their lights twinkling like the diamonds I never needed to wear. Wait. Caroline stepped forward, Vera Wang rustling. You can't just drop this bombshell at your wedding? I smiled, watching my security team materialize by the doors. Actually, I can. And I have a multi-billion-dollar fund to run. The champagne grew warm in crystal glasses, forgotten like their assumptions about their quiet sister who did something in finance. Oh, and James. I paused by the exit. That merger you're planning next month? He looked up, face pale. How did you? I own controlling interest in both companies. The deal's dead. Just like your fund's performance this quarter. Sarah Elizabeth Chin. Mom's voice cut through the helicopter's whir. You will explain yourself this instant. I turned back, savoring the moment. The $1,000 champagne sat untouched as my helicopter cast shadows across Caroline's perfect wedding reception. The one she'd bragged about in Vogue last month. Explain myself? I picked up the wedding program, gilded in gold leaf. Like how your exclusive St. Regis booking was approved by my company. We acquired the hotel chain last year. Along with most of James's investment portfolio. Mom's Harry Winston necklace seemed to dim. But the society pages said. The media group that owns those pages? I let the program fall. Shadow Valley bought them in Q2. Just like we own the firm that handles your trust fund, Caroline. My sister's Morgan Stanley pride cracked. What are you talking about? Your prestigious wealth management division? I pulled up holographic trading data. They're using our AI systems. Every trade, every investment, every strategy, it all runs through my algorithms. James's hedge fund arrogance made one last attempt. Our proprietary systems. Are they? I smiled, expanding the hologram. Check your phone. Your biggest investors are probably calling right now. On cue, his phone erupted with notifications. The color drained from his face as he read them. That's right, I continued. Those anonymous institutional investors? All Shadow Valley subsidiaries. You've basically been working for me this whole time. The Bloomberg broadcast deepened the wound. Shadow Valley Capital's AI systems reportedly integrated into 80% of global investment firms. Chen's algorithms reshape modern finance. 80%. Jennifer whispered, her investment banking career suddenly looking very small. All those times you asked about our trading strategies. I was monitoring my system's performance. I nodded. Though, monitoring might be the wrong word when you own the entire infrastructure. The ballroom screens displayed my empire's reach, AI cores spanning continents, investment algorithms reshaping markets, trading systems that made their successful careers look like amateur hour. But you never showed any ambition, Mom whispered, clutching her champagne. Ambition. I laughed. Like when I pitched my AI trading system to the family. The presentation you skipped for Caroline's engagement party? I pulled up old family texts. Real success means working at a big firm. When will you join the actual financial world? At least Caroline understands ambition. While you were sending these, I projected my fund's latest valuations. I was building the system that now powers your actual financial world. Every trade, every analysis, every investment decision, it all runs through my AI. James's phone rang again. The fund's investors, he whispered. Probably about tomorrow's announcement. I checked my watch. Shadow Valley is consolidating its partnerships. Only the top-performing funds will retain access to our systems. His multi-billion-dollar hedge fund suddenly seemed very precarious. Your annual returns? I continued. My personal account generates that in interest every few hours. Dad stood up, banker's instincts finally engaging. Surely we can discuss some kind of family arrangement. Like the arrangement you suggested to my early investors? I pulled up more records. Those calls warning them about my hobby project? They're all my clients now. The ones who listened to you missed out on about 50,000% returns. The security team's earpieces pulsed with incoming messages. Singapore was waiting. But let's talk about success. I activated another holographic display showing my personal portfolio. Since you're all suddenly so interested in my career. Darling, Mom tried again, we always wanted you to succeed. Really? I enlarged a particular transaction. Like when you refused to invest in my first fund. That initial $1 million would be worth more than this entire wedding. Actually, I checked my phone, I just bought this entire hotel. The deed transferred during the ceremony. This hotel. Caroline's voice cracked. But this is the most exclusive venue in Manhattan. Was the most exclusive, I corrected. Now it's just another Shadow Valley asset. Speaking of which, your honeymoon villa booking might need review. The security team moved forward. Miss Chin, Singapore trading opens soon. Of course, I gathered my things. Oh, and James? About that hedge fund you're so proud of. He looked up, Rolex glinting weakly in the chandelier light. My AI already predicts its collapse. Might want to update your LinkedIn. While you still have investors. The orchestra's strings fell silent as phones across the ballroom lit up with the same breaking news alert. Shadow Valley Capital begins systematic acquisition of major financial institutions. Market braces for historic consolidation. You see, I turned to the stunned wedding party. While you were planning this multi-million-dollar wedding, I was planning something a bit bigger. The complete restructuring of global finance. Caroline clutched her bouquet, the five-figure flowers suddenly seeming very insignificant. But, you never even dated after William. Dated? I laughed, pulling up another hologram. I was too busy acquiring his firm. Check tomorrow's headlines. Shadow Valley just completed the takeover. William now works for me. Well, until the restructuring. The ballroom screens shifted to live market data, showing the ripple effects of my revelations spreading across global exchanges. Red numbers cascaded as traditional finance realized who had really been controlling their algorithms. That's why you're alone? Jennifer attempted one last society jab. Too busy for love? No, I smiled, activating my phone. I just prefer keeping my relationships as private as my net worth. Speaking of which, the screens flashed again. Chen's personal fortune surges past $5 billion as market reacts to Shadow Valley revelation. Honey, Mom stepped forward, diamonds trembling. Why didn't you tell us? Tell you. I projected their years of dismissive messages across the ballroom wall. Like when you told the Southampton Club I was still finding my way? Or when Caroline told the society pages I was taking time to figure things out? The messages scrolled endlessly. Their mockery of my private life, their dismissal of my work, their constant comparison to Caroline's real career. While you were writing these, I highlighted their words. I was writing algorithms that now control your entire financial world. Every trade your banks make, every investment your funds handle, every financial decision you think you control, it all runs through my systems. James's phone buzzed again. His face went ashen as he read the message. That would be your investors, I noted. Realizing who really controls their money. The smart ones are already moving their funds to Shadow Valley. The others, well, the market's not kind to the slow. The helicopter's blades grew louder, matching the rising panic in the ballroom as more phones lit up with urgent messages. One final thing, I said, turning back as my security team paused. The helicopter's rotors echoed through the St. Regis ballroom, drowning out the whispers of shocked guests calculating their new financial reality. Remember when you said I was too focused on work to find love? I picked up Caroline's wedding seating chart. Let's discuss what focus really achieves. Mom stepped forward, Harry Winston diamonds catching the emergency lights. Sarah, please, we only wanted to help. I projected a new set of holograms. Like when you helped spread rumors about my lonely life at the country club? Images filled the air, charity galas, financial summits, society events. In each one, a quiet figure in simple clothes stood in the background, watching, analyzing. That's. Caroline clutched her bouquet tighter. You were at all these events. Every major financial gathering for the past decade, I confirmed. While you were networking with middle management, I was quietly acquiring their entire institutions. The Bloomberg broadcast shifted. Breaking. Global markets in freefall as Shadow Valley revelation triggers widespread trading halts. Major financial CEOs reported in crisis meetings. That Goldman conference in London last spring? I turned to James. When you were so proud to be speaking on that hedge fund panel. I owned the venue. And the technology. And most of the funds presenting. James's hands trembled as he reached for more champagne. All this time. And Caroline's Morgan Stanley promotion party? I continued. Where you told everyone I was married to my work? I was there evaluating which trading desks to absorb in our acquisition. Caroline's perfect composure shattered completely. What acquisition? Tomorrow's announcement, I smiled. Shadow Valley isn't just licensing algorithms anymore. We're consolidating the entire global financial infrastructure. Only the best performers will remain. Though being too focused might actually be an advantage now. The AI cores hummed overhead, each calculation adding millions to my net worth. But what's truly ironic, I picked up Mom's crystal champagne flute, is how quick you were to mock the quiet one. The observer. The one who built an empire while you planned wedding seating charts. We never mocked, Dad started. Really? I activated a final hologram. Like when you said I'd never understand real wealth? Let's talk about wealth, Dad. The air filled with real-time data streams, global transactions, AI systems, trading algorithms. All running through my processors. Every trade you make, powered by my AI. Every investment you handle, running through my systems. Every financial decision in your world, controlled by my algorithms. The security team's earpieces pulsed again. Singapore couldn't wait much longer. You know what I learned from this family? I surveyed their shocked faces. That true power isn't in showing off success. It's in controlling the very system that defines it. Caroline's bridal pride made one final attempt. Tao, listen. Listen to what? I cut her off. How your lonely sister revolutionized global finance. How the one you called too focused now owns the infrastructure running your entire world. The Bloomberg ticker told the story. Shadow Valley Capital's market influence exceeds combined power of top financial institutions. Chen's algorithms reshape global markets. Too focused on work? I quoted their favorite criticism. Funny how focus sounds when it's worth $5 billion. Though that number's already outdated. I pulled up my real-time net worth. Caroline's custom Vera Wong suddenly looked very off the rack as she saw the figure. That's not possible, she whispered. Impossible. I laughed. I passed impossible years ago. While you were planning seating charts, I was quietly planning global financial takeovers. The helicopter's engines grew more insistent. Miss Chin, my chief of security, spoke softly. Singapore is waiting. Of course, I nodded. Global markets don't pause for wedding drama. Unlike your celebrations, my empire actually requires precision. I headed for the helipad, then paused. Oh, and Caroline, that honeymoon fund you're so proud of. She looked up, bouquet wilting. Yes. It's managed by my AI. Like everything else in your financial world. You might want to check its performance. Apparently, loneliness isn't the only thing this family got wrong about me. The AI cores pulsed one final time, casting harsh light over their stunned faces. The $1,000 champagne grew warm, forgotten like their assumptions about their quiet sister who was too focused on work. Congratulations on the wedding, I called out. The market opens in Singapore soon. Being family with a financial revolutionary tends to affect investment returns.